happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics, and today we got a reaction to Devin Townsend and his top 10 songs, brought to us by a friend, longtime supporter and patron of the channel, River. Thank you, River. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the patrons that make this thing go. If you'd like to support us anyway, check out that Patreon link below or the Patreon link on the end screen. We're running free trials. You can go check out, see if you like it, guys. Any amount of support we super appreciate. It takes a lot to keep this channel going. All right, I don't really know anything at all about Devin Townsend. I mean, we have live streams every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So Rivers brought a few Devin Townsend, but that's all I know, right? So River said, I broke it down, but this kind of gives you an insight, right? Some of this was just to me, but I'm going to share with you because it gives you an insight of how difficult this is, right? To actually put together a top 10 list of artists who have this huge catalog. River said, I broke it down by album first, listening album to album and adding a top 3 or so off of each, and then cutting till I had one song off each album, then cutting each album till I had a top 10. This was a struggle to say the least, but I'll say it was rewarding because some tracks I thought would be in my top 10 weren't. Others suddenly started speaking to me again. And that's kind of the cool thing, because not only with like artists, you might listen to a song from somebody and go, I don't like that artist, but in the artists that you love, you might be like, these are my faves. But once you go back and really listen this way, where you're trying to pick a top 10, like critically, things change sometimes. It's cool. You can discover some stuff that you maybe would not have went back and revisited. River says Devin Townsend is possibly the artist that is my artist, to put it in a clunky way. Like the Grateful Dead are to my mother, or Kiss and Led Zeppelin are to my dad. I started listening to him in high school, and from his release of Key and the tour he did with the Devin Townsend Project, I saw Devin live every time he rolled on through Cleveland with DTP or toured solo or co-headline with Animals as leaders. I'd fallen away from his music back in 2018 or so, but came back in around 2021, and he hasn't missed a step. So great ride up there from River. I'm going to share a little background on Devin for you. He's a Canadian singer, songwriter, musician, and record producer. He founded extreme metal band Strapping Young Lad and was its primary songwriter, vocalist, and guitarist from 1994 to 2007. After performing in a number of heavy metal bands in high school, he was discovered in 1993 by a record label who asked him to perform lead vocals on Steve Vai's album Sex and Religion. After recording and touring with Vai, he was discouraged by what he found in the music industry and vented his anger on his 1995 solo album, Heavy as a Really Heavy Thing, which he released under the pseudonym Strapping Young Lad, right? See how it all comes together? He soon assembled a band of the same name with whom he released a critically acclaimed album, City, in 1997. His solo albums have featured a varying lineup of supporting musicians and are a mix of hard rock, progressive metal, ambient, and new age, so everything in there. In 2002, he formed the Devin Townsend Band, which recorded and toured for 2 of his solo releases. In 2007, he disbanded both Strapping Young Lad and the Devin Townsend Band, taking a break from touring to spend more time with his family. After a 2-year hiatus, he began recording again and soon announced the formation of the Devin Townsend Project, which there's going to be quite a few of their songs on here. This band began with a series of 4 albums released from 2009 to 2011, and each written in a different genre. He continued to record and tour under the new moniker until January of 2018. Across all his bands and solo projects, he's released 23 studio albums and 4 live albums. His trademark production style, and I found another place that said 28 albums, so he's released a lot of albums. His trademark production style, featuring a heavily multi-tracked wall of sound, has been compared to the styles of Robert Fripp and Frank Zappa. His vocal delivery ranges from screaming to an opera-esque singing, while his musical style is rooted in metal, and his albums are written to express different aspects of his personality. All right, if you've never been with us before, the music will not be in the video, but it'll be at a Vimeo link below. So click on that and follow along with us. Let's get to number 10. You see it down below at number 10. We got Night live in Plovdiv off the Ocean Machine live at the Ancient Roman Theater, Plovdiv in 2018. His 3rd live album. River said, got to hit you with at least 1 live track, but there may be more. So even though you see it below on the Spotify, we're going to watch the live performance of it. I'm going to have the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, River. All right. Night live. They sounded fantastic, right? The drumming was incredible, and Devin was just fantastic. Get in that scream and then go right back into that sweet melody. But just a group of veteran musicians who are just master tacticians at what they do, right? You can tell they're having a good time. At the very end, when they turn the lights on, you can see what a cool venue this is. But a really, really good introduction to Devin, and seeing him live, and a little bit of the lyrics. Just kind of things aren't working out for him, right? With this significant other here. And I can't believe that I'm here to stay, because I never worked it out this way. And I love you more than I can say, but I hate you every other way, right? You ever been one of those love-hate relationships, truly? And you get the rain falling down. I think I'm closer. I'm getting closer now under the light of the moon. I can't believe that I'm here to stay because I've never worked it out. And I love you more than I can say, but I hate you every other. And I'll keep my world from falling apart in the corner of an aching heart. So say you'll come into the city. Come back with me, please. So he hates her, but he can't get away from her, right? So I don't know if I've exactly been in those relationships, but sort of. I get it, man. Next up at number 9, we got Key off the album of the same name in 2009. 11th studio album, first album in the Devin Townsend Project series. Townsend, the founder, songwriter, and frontman of extreme metal band Strapping Young Lad and progressive metal group the Devin Townsend Band, dissolved both bands in 2006 to spend time with his family and avoid the burnout of touring and interviews. I talked about this before, but we're going to build on it more, right? After a period of self-discovery and a year-long break from songwriting, he began work on a 4-album series to clarify his identity as a musician. He identifies themes of self-control and sobriety and is musically subtler than much of the artist's previous work, consisting of ambient rock music interlaced with tentative bursts of heavy metal. The word key represents the Japanese concept of life force. Townsend chose the name as an homage to the 1981 Kitaro album of the same name, which he loved as a kid. He said this song was a personal breakthrough and initially born out of a Gray Skies demo, Soft, previously released on Assorted Demos 2. All right, let's get it. All right, Key. A lot going on in this song, right? It's like ambient prog rock, right? And then he broke into a little opera type singing in the last minute and a half. A really well done song. The production on it's fantastic. I honestly don't know what I think of it on first listen. I think it's one of those songs that would take a while to grow on you because there is so much going on, but quite impressive everything that they do. So that song was almost 7.5 minutes long. This song's a little over 3, and then the next song is 9.5 minutes long. So we'll sandwich this shorter song here. We got The Way Home with exclamation points, I should say. The Way Home from the Addicted album in 2009, which was the second Devin Townsend Project album. The Way Home. So what I'm noticing so far, it's very complex, right? These song constructions are very complex. You almost got a machine gun guitar back here with some fantastic drumming, but his singing almost went in an opera type higher register there and then came back, but the melody was really good. It's just a lot going on in 3 minutes and 13 seconds, but the production is so well done. They didn't just get together and have a jam session. I can tell you that right now. Quite impressive. And all I got to say in full transparency is this song better be quite impressive because it's 9.5 minutes long. Let's go. We got Deconstruction from the album of the same name in 2011. Now we got the third Devin Townsend Project album. According to an interview with Devin, the album is a concept album focused around a man who's obsessed with finding the true nature of reality. In the process of this journey, he goes to hell and meets the devil. The devil shows him the secret of the universe, presenting a cheeseburger to him. However, being a vegetarian, the man cannot eat the cheeseburger, rendering his attempts at working out the true nature of reality pointless. The album is chaotic in nature and has elements which are prominently humorous, which is a radical departure from Devin's more recent work up to this time. He also stated in this interview that Deconstruction is a musical representation of facing your fears and overcoming them. He explains he wanted the album to have a positive message despite its highly chaotic nature. Now, on this track itself, you've got Odorous Uringus from Guar on vocals and Frederick Thorndal from Meshuggah on the guitar solo. So he's got some other people in there helping him out. All right, Deconstruction. Just not my thing, man. I get it if it's yours, right? It was some, once again, impressive production where just not my thing. I will say this, it was 9 minutes, 27 seconds. It didn't feel like that. It didn't drag. It didn't feel long. And that's very difficult to do. Because usually songs are that long, repeating chords, and you're just like, can you get on with it? That's just my feel on long songs. This did not feel like that. They did a really good job with the arrangement stuff. It's just not my thing, but I get it, man. And it does show you the versatility of Devin, right? And you got to have that versatility if you're going to be around this long. Next up, we have Blackberry off the Ghost album in 2011. River said, and to quote Monty Python, and now for something completely different. I can just imagine. Now we're up to the fourth DTP album. It was released simultaneously with Deconstruction, so same time, but one of them's got to be 3 and one of them's got to be 4. Devin stated the album is, quote, the mellowest by far and prettiest record I've done so far. So interesting to release those two at the same time. All right, Blackberry. That song was almost 5 minutes long. It didn't seem like it at all. I was shocked when I looked down to see that it was almost over. Just a really pretty song, ambient in there. The voices are mixed a little bit more into the background, Devin, and then it sounds like a female backing right in there, kind of going back and forth. And yeah, I mean, it just had a great tone to it. Not to mention the frog sounds in there at the start and finish, but Really good choice there. And a good choice to go from Deconstruction to this is to show you his versatility. Now we're to the top 5 in Rivers Devin Townsend's top 10 songs. We got Genesis from the Empath album in 2019, his 18th studio album, lead single, and Wall of Sound. That publication gave this album a perfect 10 out of 10. You don't see many of those. I don't care what publication it is on anything that I look at. All right, Genesis, another song with lots going on. We actually have musician credits on this one. So we got Mike Kennelly on guitar and keys along with Devin on guitar. They're doing a fantastic job on guitar. And there's 3 drummers on this song. And you feel it, right? You just feel that power. All these additional vocalists, right? We got the Electro Women's Choir and a couple other backup vocalists here. So this song just has a ton of stuff going on. Again, it shows Devin's ability to not only switch up within a song, but also just his awesome production ability. So yeah, just fantastic, man. Just a fantastic song. Next up at number 4, we got Ziltoidia Attax. River says off his parody progressive metal concept album, Ziltoidia the Omniscient, in 2007, his 10th studio album, which is my first intro to Devin as a musician, with Key being the second album I'd heard from him. And I found it's a concept album about an extraterrestrial being named Ziltoid from the planet Ziltoidia 9. Ziltoid travels to Earth in search of your universe's ultimate cup of coffee. A cup of coffee is delivered to him, and he promptly is appalled by its state, declaring it's fetid, and summons the Ziltoidian warlords to attack Earth, facing the full might of Earth's army. I will give Devin this. He's got a great imagination. Kind of some background on this. His wife gave birth to their first son in October of 2006. Around this time, he withdrew from touring. Kind of the same story we know, but this is going to give you a little another background to it. He withdrew from the touring and stepped away. He also released an ambient album, The Hummer, around this time. He then began work on this album. He said, quote, "And I really mean solo. In the true sense of the word, nobody was around. For 4 months, I worked completely on my own. I recorded each instrumental track, and I also programmed all the drums. I was sound engineer and producer, and I mixed every note in my cellar with a minimum of gear. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do all of it on my own." Townsend programmed the drums using Drum Kit from Hell, a software drum machine provided him by Frank of Meshuggah. So I just really shows you his ability, right? That he could do everything. It doesn't surprise me already listening to all of these songs. The pacing of his songs, man, they just fly by. I mean, the song's about what I said about, but the drum machines, like he really programmed those things. The drums were coming in strong, like really strong. But you know, the screaming almost lyrics, like he's getting more into not thrash metal, but definitely getting into more heavy stuff there. So I mean, I say it every time, but you know, shows his versatility, man. Good choice for number 4. Next up at number 3, you see it below. Kingdom from the Epiclad album in 2012. River says every reaction channel eventually does a reaction to his EMG series recording of Kingdom, and I think for good reason. Devin is a showman, and he makes that clear. He made a video showing off guitar equipment for EMG, a thing folks flock to see. This was the 5th DTP album. On the topic of his decision to re-record this, because this was a song from his Physicist album, which came out in 2000. Remember, this came out in 2012. Devin said, "We redid Kingdom because it is a live set staple. It's so much better now that the Physicist recording." Wow, Kingdom, that song is fantastic. That performance was unbelievable. I mean, no wonder people reacted, but just fantastic, man. That song had everything. Obviously, great guitar playing, as he points out in there, but the soaring harmonies, but then him just coming in with such strong vocal like power, right? Just fantastic, man. That song was great. I'm really curious now because I would have thought that would have been number 1, but I mean, there's 2 songs better on River's list. We got Call of the Void coming in at number 2 from the Lightwork album in 2022. River says, "So this is where it's going to get heavy for a second for me. I heard this album first time last year, and had this album been released in 2023, it had been my album of the year. And it's because of this track bringing me to tears because of the state I was in with my cousin's death and my job change and everything else happening in my life. I was weeping openly on the bus." That's the power of music. It's his 21st studio album. Lyrically, the album addresses the struggles of the COVID-19 pandemic while reflecting about the post-pandemic future. So not light fare, right? Some of his albums are light fare. This is definitely not light fare. Let's do it. Call of the Void, number 2. All right, Call of the Void. That was an absolutely fantastic song. I mean, it's so powerful, right? I mean, he sounded great. The power on the freak out, but you know, one of the lines, "Take a walk down by the river, revelations, paranoia, and the thoughts that pull us under are they calling." So he has a light work track by track video. I for each song on this album. And he said the title of the song refers to a type of invasive thinking or intrusive thoughts that lure you towards something you wouldn't or shouldn't do and force you to really focus on avoid doing it. In an interview, he said the term call of the void was one that I heard referring to that sensation when you're driving beside a cliff and have a strange fear that at any moment you may just hurl yourself over. I mean, you guys ever have this? I have those thoughts when I'm driving. The other day I had that thought when I was driving up this ramp, right, on the highway, and it went one way or the other, and there's this big concrete barrier, and I'm like, what if I just drove right in the middle of that, right? I thought, I never thought about it. Is that weird? Like, I'm not thinking about doing it, but it's just that weird feeling you get of, like, in that moment, like you could be gone. So he said those same sort of thoughts are the ones that might threaten to pull us under, both figuratively and literally, walking by a river. And then the next line is, because when you see the world's insane reaction to follow your heart, the worst reaction is to freak out. So don't you freak out. In that same video series, he said, when it feels like the world's insane, when it feels like all you want to do is freak out, just don't, because it doesn't help. Keeping yourself together in times of crisis is one of the most important skill sets that I think we can learn. I think that is some great wisdom. I mean, I'm an old guy, right? I'm 52, and I've learned that in life, man. I've always been very good in crisis situations. I think part of it, you're just either gifted with that or not. I don't think it's any, like, kudos to you for being that way, right? But you can't always stay calm in any situation, but the best thing you can do, because it doesn't help, and if you can be clear-headed, it's going to get you a lot farther, but easier said than done. Great choice, man. Great choice. And it actually was better, I mean, maybe by that much, than Kingdom, I guess. So now we go to River's #1 Devin Townsend song. We have Rejoice from Z Squared, or Z2, depending on how you want to call it, but it's short for Ziltoidia 2. River said, this track's been my favorite of his songs for a long, long time. And Call of the Void is close, but this one, I don't know, man. It's up there. So I found this is a double album in the 6th Devin Townsend project. It consists of 2 albums released together. The rock-oriented Sky Blue, which this is the opening track on, so it's the very first thing you hear on this double album, and Dark Matters, which Dark Matters is a solo metal concept album acting as a sequel to, of course, Ziltoidia the Omniscient. The main theme of Dark Matters, according to Townsend, is Ziltoidia against the world. Now, we're going to get into that because this song's not from that, but I just thought I would mention that. All right, Rejoice, River's #1 Devin Townsend song. Really good song. It's catchy, right? That little melody comes back into you and just kind of hits you up. And obviously the drumming, and on some of these songs, the drum machine just really hangs on you, and the machine gun guitar playing at times as well. But that was a good song. Before we get to my faves, River has one honorable mention because it was the hardest cut. Strapping Young Lad, one of the other bands, Love. I cut it in the end only because I figured focusing more on the stuff released under Devin Townsend project and Devin Townsend names would make more sense. Maybe SYL's Alien album will be an album review this year. Who knows? But my honorable mentions are going to be Blackberry. I like the different male-female dichotomy there. And then the last song, Rejoice. Faves are going to be Nightlife and Plovdiv. I don't know if it's because it was live and it was great. I don't know. The Way Home. And then, of course, Kingdom and Call of the Void. Fantastic stuff. So let me know your favorites down below. What other Devin Townsend songs should be included? Remember, I mean, River went through every one of these albums and was like, the undertaking of something like this is just like the time commitment and just the difficulty. I cannot stress it to you enough for somebody who's done stuff like this. It's fantastic. So thank you to River for putting this one together for us. If you haven't already, give us a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button below. We've got over 2,600 videos. And until next time, guys, I will see you.